This is iLLANOiZE Radio with Biko, iLLANOiZE Jones, and Pretty Riot going down right now.
As always, we bring you some of the illest guests from around the city and the globe. And today, we got the homie Weekend Gabe in the building. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good. Where is the applause soundtrack?
See,
or some real applause.
I got you.
I drove like 16 miles to get here. Some sort of I
Hey, normally I clap, but then the young lady to the left of you. Yeah, the left of you.
You're right.
She got on me about clapping, and Jones is not here today, so it kind of.
Wait, is there an anti-clapping rule that's in effect?
I just feel like it's weird, but
Is it
I guess
cliche
it's
or
not.
what?
I feel like it's very cliche to clap. I feel like you should know you're welcome. We asked you to come.
I know.
But you still gotta you gotta.
But
see,
I feel like
Nose.
it's never like a unison clap. It's just like Biko clapping.
Okay, I admit she has a point.
But if you would at least give us a warning, a heads up.
If you hear me clapping, you should just join in.
Still, but at that point, I already be blue that you can tell me we was about to.
I kind of like the idea of clapping because it doesn't seem like something you do every day, so it's special when you do it. So
that's very true.
Even though it's cliche, let me tell you as a guest, and this is something as a host I do, it just makes them feel warm and welcome. So.
Well,
Thank you.
But whatever. Maybe you can clap when we're done. I don't know.
Thank you.
We'll clap at the end.
We'll revisit this.
Thank you for putting her in tune.
No, it's not that. But thank you guys for letting me come down. I appreciate it.
Hey, man. So for those that don't know, man, Gabe has been in the media, radio, broadcasting scene for quite some time. He's actually interviewed me several times.
Yep.
Great interviews at that. He literally breaks things down. So we just gonna jump into it, man. When did you figure out that you had a passion for radio?
It was when I took my first job when I was in high school. So I used to work at White Castle, the one on 6th, 3rd, and Cicero. So right by the airport. I used to work there. And it was like right after high school, I was sitting on the curb stop. So I always knew I wanted to be in music or do something around music.
Okay.
But of course I didn't have any, instrumental technical skills. I couldn't rap, so what's the next best thing? Be next to rappers or be next to people who actually do that work.
Have you ever tried to
Oh yeah, it's awful. Like I do this for my son every day, and he's just like, you're the worst. And so like he'll boo it from the back.
Shout out little man though. He got some energy on him.
I said yesterday, I was like, yo, I'm a bad dad, and he's like, wait, you're a bad dad? Like, I'm like, no, it's like a good dad. So he couldn't like really understand, like what the bad meant. So I was like, forget it, never mind.
Oh man.
But yeah, so he boos me regularly. So that's but even before he started booing me, other people were like, no, that's probably not what you should be doing. So I kind of took the long journey, what they call non-traditional students, people who work full time, go to school at night, and then so I did 5 years at Harold Washington for a 2-year degree, but you're going part-time, so it's going to take a while. And then I transferred over to Columbia and actually knocked out 2 years in 2 years. So that's where I stood.
What did you get your degree in at Columbia?
It's a Bachelor of Arts, but a focus in communications. So it was all focused on radio, broadcasting, communications. And there, I did my own show on WCRX for 2 years in the summer. And then that's where I interned at Vocalo when they were really early in their start. And then that's where I started doing on-air production. And then they gave me my own segment where I reviewed hip-hop releases.
So you still do that to this day?
I still do it, yeah. So it's almost going on 8-9 years now with Vocalo. And so it's beautiful to see their growth and where they've come from in the beginning, where it's a lot scattered. And now it's more focused on doing shows like this that are keyed into social issues, climate issues of politics and music and film and all types of things. So it's really great to see their growth and that they're starting to build a rapport with listeners and and so I've been doing that, and then that's where I hopped over to WLUW 3-4 years ago. Started supporting the Hip Hop Project with DJ Sense, Slot A, all these really great DJs in here in Chicago, and then Radio 1 Chicago came on board, which just happened to be part of WLUW. And then those two aligned, so they're both on Thursday night. So I stay from 6 to 10 every Thursday. And then I was actually dabbling in podcasts. So this was early 2010 when podcasts weren't as
popular are they as
yeah,
they are
like
now.
Everyone didn't have a podcast. It kind of feels like podcast is going where like rap is now. It's like everyone
and
is
it
trying to do it.
sucks because it's like sometimes I don't even know if this is a politically correct thing to say. It's rude, honestly. Sometimes y'all just boring. Y'all don't have
content.
No, you don't have the content. It sometimes the voices are annoying.
Man.
Sometimes it's just like you can't even hold a conversation. Like I hate when people try to do podcasts by themselves and it's just them talking for an hour. Like
the best thing about some of these podcasts to me nowadays is the names.
Yeah,
the names of the
names
podcast
will be creative, but then you start listening and you be like, well, where did the creativity go?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what stands out is that the people who are doing it, they don't have any experience with any production. They don't have any microphone skills or being on air, and they're just talking like you said, and that can either work out for the best or
the worst,
depending on like what kind of personality you are, and that you're intelligent enough to sort of explore ideas and say it in a coherent way. Then that could work. But if you're just like, yo, not me, no. I was like, no, that's I don't want to listen to you past like 30 seconds. So anyway, so I was at the Illinois Center Broadcasting. I was dabbling in podcasting a little bit. And then, so I did a show over there for about 6 months. And then I actually interned at WGN Radio based off some contacts I made through Vocalo. So I was over there for about 1.5 years. But to get to your question, the best thing that I got out of that is just the networking contacts that I got out of it. And because, like I was mentioning, I was a non-traditional student, so I was working my senior year. I was working 2 part-time jobs and carrying the full load, and we just had our child. So I was just like bouncing to each, responsibility I had. And so the only thing I regret not doing is getting more deeper into building and connecting with the folks and like sort of taking advantage of opportunities at the school, like volunteer opportunities and just sort of showing that you cared. And it wasn't that I didn't care. It's just like
you didn't have time.
I got to make money. It's like I can't make money, volunteering, even though those were great opportunities. And I seen how people who did take advantage of those opportunities are further into their career than I am. But it's like, it's just like they're like in different cities.
But at the end of the day, though you may have not, took some of those volunteering jobs, you're doing, in my opinion, you're doing very well.
No, it's fantastic. It's just different paths, but would I like to be on air and like, even if it's not a big city like Minneapolis or nearby Indianapolis or somewhere, that'd be kind of cool. But I appreciate what we do here because I think we're doing good work.
You are definitely.
But I think it's just being that I was a little bit older than a lot of the students there, they didn't have responsibilities, so you can just pack up and go. And that's one of the things that I would share and this is something that they do explore when I was in school, is that if you're in this field and you're young, take advantage of the opportunities that are elsewhere outside of Chicago. This is the 3rd largest market, so the opportunities are far and few in between. So you have a better shot of getting on air, getting in front of a camera, getting behind the board, and getting experience if you go to some of the smaller, cities in America, which may require you to uproot and leave. But, those are good opportunities. And then, your goal may be to come back home, which we see a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. They eventually, go around the country and then they come back. And so I think that's sort of something everyone should keep in mind if they're deciding to get into this body of work.
Yeah, spread your wings. Spread your wings and fly. You feel what I'm saying? But before we continue the conversation, we actually going to get into a quick music break. We're going to get into one of our illest joints of the day from the homie Solo CeeLo. I said that right. Solo CeeLo with 100. I almost said 100, but it's 100. The video is off the chain. I don't know who directed this video, but the video is what caught my attention. They sent it to us. From there, I had to get the clean version. And we got it right here on iLLANOiZE Radio via Logic. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back with the homie Weekend Gabe.
Put some hustles on that thing real quick. I had a hard workout today, but I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, I spent 100 on my jeans, yup, 100 on my briefs, yup, 100 on my teeth, yup, 100 on my dues, yup, 100 on my shoes, yup, 100 on her. She dropped 100 on her booze, yup. Yeah, I spent 100 on my jeans, yup, 100 on my briefs, yup, 100 on my teeth.
Like I said, as always, we have a special guest in the building, and today we got media broadcasting guru Weekend Gabe in the building.
Here, I'll clap.
You
I'll clap for myself.
You didn't warn me that we were clapping. I'm sitting here bundled up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm freezing.
Yo, what it was like 80 this week.
It was
and then
80,
it was like 40.
60, then it was 40. It was like a 40-degree drop in 2 days. This is
my-
pneumonia with
yes.
time.
It's like how we go from 100 to 40.
And it was 80 degrees outside, and I had a coat on, and people was looking at me crazy, and I'm like, because it's going to be cold tomorrow, and I refuse to get sick.
But it's not cold at 80 degrees.
I don't care.
I seen someone walking down the street. I dead ass serious. This woman had like a fur coat. I'm like, what drugs
Okay,
are
now
you on?
Yeah, now she did too much. I ain't gonna lie, I had me a little bomber on, but that's because, it get cold in the office. It gets cold in my office.
My reaction is like, it's not cold. Like, what drugs? That's what I need to know.
Look, we all know Chicago has bipolar weather, okay?
Yes.
Sometimes you just don't know if you got to come out with a jacket or a boot or some flip-flops.
Okay.
You just don't never know.
But respond accordingly. Don't go like I'm
yeah,
not.
now, a fur was a little.
That is
far.
a little.
I don't know
far.
how you wearing a winter coat at 80 degrees helps you tomorrow when it's 40. I don't know how that works, but okay.
Oh my goodness, man. So let's actually get into Radio 1 Chicago.
Yes.
Now, how did Radio 1 Chicago come about?
So the show itself has been around for, from what I understand, like nearly 20 years. I came on board as a contributor. The show itself is solely focused on Chicago artistry, not necessarily music, but entrepreneurs, designers, bloggers, anyone from the city. And you don't have to be born here to be part of it, just like you're working in the city or nearby. We do accept suburbs too. So we've had folks from Aurora come in. So they brought me in because they were missing sort of that hip hop component. And then I was Sandra Trevino, who's a Latin correspondent for Vocalo. I was bugging her because she was doing Radio 1 Chicago, and I was like, "Yo, let me get on," And so they were like, "Okay, well, we're missing this hip hop component. You do it, bring in guests." And so pretty much like a 30-minute block every month, I would like bring someone in. And so I did that for a couple months, and then they're eventually like, "Hey, just come in as a regular, so you can help produce and help do other interviews as well." And so I've been doing that for like 3-4 years with them, and we're every week we're meeting new artists, or we're meeting like yourself. That's how I met Biko.
Man, yeah.
That's how I met a number of artists that he's brought through to the show. Solo Sam has come through. If you haven't known,
Big ups to Solo Sam.
Like I met him through the show. Like there's like so many people I've met through the show like 3-4 years ago who were just like on the grind and who are now out there doing like amazing things. So to see their progression as an artist, and sometimes they salute us as being like the first, outlet to give them, big exposure,
yep.
And then to podcast those interviews, so we appreciate the work that we're doing. We know that we're filling in a gap that's not being found on the terrestrial dial, so to speak. I know you guys are doing it, and you guys are doing it well in the online form, but like to be on the dial and like being solely exclusive to Chicago artists, a lot of people give us a lot of feedback and approval for that. So,
and what I like about Radio 1 is it's a very, very, very diverse show. You hear hip hop with a little like country, with a little folk, with a little jazz. Like you got everything blend. You guys make sure you bring just a versatile list of artists in the building. And
that's great. So we have a submit button on our site. So if you go to radio1chicago.com, there's a submit button, and if you're signed, unsigned, doesn't really matter. Submit your music. We go through our inbox and check it out, and if it has a great quality about it, we'll put it in rotation. But we're also on Reverb Nation as well. You can submit music through that form as well. And it's just really fascinating to see like teachers who are musicians, people who have like overnight jobs, grinding away at their artistry. It's really interesting and fascinating to see like how people are creating and how they're able to create, and the bands that we're seeing that have been around for 10 plus years that I never heard of that are doing amazing things. It's really eye-opening. Like just this past week, we had Jamal Green, who's running for the mayor of Chicago.
Yeah, I saw that.
He stopped in, and that was like a big first for us. We never had like a politician. And next week we had Paul Vallis coming in to talk with us about running for mayor of Chicago.
I saw Cupcake on there before.
I hounded Cupcake to come.
Well, let me adjust your mic actually.
So I hounded Cupcake because I was like, not even like on a creepy way. I just really loved what she does and what she represents, And then we had asked her a couple years ago when one of her mixtapes came out. We didn't get a response, so now we got a response. And I was like, okay, come on in. And then like she ended up bringing her mom with her, which was kind of cool. So it was all love. So we've been getting like a lot of really big artists stop through. But then again, our forum is for every and anybody who's doing work.
Got you. So, what is the most difficult thing about radio to you? Like, what the outside world wouldn't understand? What's difficult to Weekend Gabe that I guess just startles you for shows?
The most difficult thing is that a lot of these artists, they don't have PR. They're doing everything themselves, right?
And they really know what they're doing.
and it's like, I love your grind. I like what you're doing, but I need you to be responsive, and I need you to show up when you say you're going to show up. That to me is the part of it that is just hair pulling, where we book artists and then they won't show up. They won't like sort of just explain like, hey, I had something going on, which we understand.
Things happen.
I'm like, of course, for someone who has a family, I understand things happen. But then you just don't get a response. You don't get the clean edits, timely. And they're like, yo, they show up for an interview and like, I don't have any clean edits. I'm like, clearly.
Well, I can't play your music.
like we send a confirmation that clearly states that, you need the re-edits. But it's stuff like that. That's like the most difficult challenge is just getting some of those artists. But then the ones who had like PR or something like that, it's like, everything's like done weeks in advance. Like everything's done. Like, so you see that contrast.
So, I mean, do you feel like, with all the podcasting happening and radio as well, do you feel like podcasting is taken away from radio at all?
That's a great question because I just had this conversation with someone where I'm a little bit older, so I listen to a lot of public radio. Because I'm just like a news junkie mixed in with like all the hip hop and music and stuff. So I spend a lot of time in my car. So I used to listen to a lot of news radio, but everything is now podcasted. Like news is podcasted, conversations, opinions, stories. So I'm slowly stepping away from the radio, if that makes any sense, and listening to everything sort of on demand. It's like your TV habits are on demand.
Everything you go to bed.
It's like, and besides like live events, sporting events, or the Olympics, or whatever else that you have to watch on. And also the best part of like watching things live is like the Twitter experience. Watching it with everyone else. But for the most part, like the radio is slowly starting. I'm not saying it's dying because I think there's people who appreciate radio because of the unpredictability of listening to someone talk versus listening to what's regular. And that's why, you just sort of get tired of listening to like, oh, I'm going to listen to the same iPod, listen to the same stories, listen to the same records. You want to just get something different in your diet of listening. So I don't think it's ever going to go away, but I just think that people are just becoming more on demand and listening to things at their convenience instead of looking at the clock and like, oh, I got to listen to it now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's good and bad. But still, I think that there's always going to be space for people to listen, because whether or not you like something, you're going to listen to it because I like it, and you're going to find the time to listen
to it,
to carve out space for that. I think as long as that's still available, people are still going to tune in. I just think that people just like to listen to things when they want to listen to them.
Yeah,
you got to appreciate that.
And I agree with you. I don't feel radio is going to go anywhere. Think about it; it's free.
Yeah.
For certain,
people are always in their cars, and everybody doesn't necessarily want to be an aux cord DJ.
And there's still people who roam this world. I know there are people out there. I just don't know them personally. But my father's one of them that still has a flip phone, doesn't listen to podcasts, doesn't know what an aux cord is.
You're right.
There's people who still regularly just like turn on the radio and have their presets, and that's
all they need.
And then when you're on the road too, sometimes your internet isn't great.
Yes.
So
them bars below. You feel me?
You're driving through a space in this country where there isn't any cell reception and
no towers around.
So
just cornfields.
The radio is all you got. So it's not a bad thing. I think it's still a good thing. I think we still need it for that contrast. And I love radio too because it's fun.
It is.
And I think people still get excited about being on the radio, which is a great thing as well. That it's there. The thing about it is like you can easily upload your music and your podcast, but there's no gatekeeper to stop you. Yeah. But to convince someone to give you a shot to put you on air, that's an achievement and accomplishment that you can't get from just uploading your stuff, And then I think that as much as the gatekeeper is being removed and allowing a lot of artists to come in, I still think that they're still having some people to protect parts of the culture. I think that's a good thing.
Okay.
Because it's like it's like, what's the word? What's the saying goes? Like, many are selected, but few are chosen.
Yep.
It's like just because you can rap really good doesn't mean you're a great songwriter or a great rapper.
Man.
Period.
Yeah, so I think there still needs to be people in place to be like, yo, you need to go.
We were just talking about that.
We talk about it all the time.
Artists still need A&Rs, yeah. Yeah, do some artist development
all the time. Like the artist development is much needed, and we were saying,
but it almost baffles me that they have kind of like completely taken that out of the industry now. Like, when did we decide it wasn't needed? Like, when did we decide artist development wasn't needed? Like, granted, like social media is active, and the numbers. I guess it's all that matters, but.
No, it ain't.
I mean, but to some people, that's all they see. They see you as numbers. You know what I'm saying? They see you as a number. So it's like, why are we taking music into their hand? To that path, like just numbers. Why does talent no longer matter?
Well, because right now, and we were talking with an artist who came in this past week, and what's happening now is that artists who are quote unquote getting signed, they're already coming with their 100,000 followers, their so many listeners and subscribers on YouTube and SoundCloud. They're already coming prepared. All they need is that extra push. No one got time for that.
Nope, because it's money. It's an investment, and if that investment goes sour, now you got the labels. The labels can't lose no money right now.
But then that's also the risk you take when you invest in somebody. Because I mean, you can invest in somebody with the total package, and they can still fail you.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's no guarantee because it's like people still like what they like.
Yeah.
Radio could push a record that's a bad record, but people are just gonna be like, they're gonna hate it even more.
Yeah. Or it'll be a hit for that time, but once that record is done, that artist is done.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like plenty of records that have been like that. I was really like Tweet, like the Oh My record with Missy from like 15, 20 years ago. Yeah,
that was actually a
I was like, what happened to Tweet? I like look up, see like, oh, she hadn't dropped like in 10 years.
What's homie name? Watch Me Whip. Watch Me name.
Silento.
Silent. Look at him. How the labels literally put bread behind him.
What happened to D4L?
Yeah, D4L.
No.
It's like they push and then.
It's like after they stopped making long white tees, like their career went away too. It's like all of it went away.
That's how you feel.
It's like it's straight up. It's
no,
like
you got a point though.
It's like as soon as those like people's like, yeah, I don't know if I want my shirt all the way down to my knees.
To my knees no more. That's why Soulja Boy kind of like not there no more either,
Yeah.
But he's still an internet king. You gotta hand
but
it to him.
Soulja Boy is still producing beats though. So
yeah, he is.
He hasn't completely.
And writing too.
Yeah,
and he has been writing too.
He's still working.
He found his way to keep his groove.
Because we didn't want to watch him no more.
Yeah. And what we gonna do is we actually gonna get into two ill-list artists. We gonna start things off with the homie Joel Q. And we gonna give you Icarus. I'm sorry, no, go ahead, shout him out.
Oh, shout out Joel Q.
You feel me, the homie? And it's called Icarus, and it's featuring Corporate. After you hear this joint, next we got London Low with her new banger, Clear My Mind. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back with the homie Weekend Gabe.
Don't get too close to the sun. I'm trying to teach you how to fly. I know you feel like the one. I'm trying to teach you how to fly. You got your wings on. Now you think that you a god. It's a thin line between the mortals and the minds. Just listen to me closely. I can take you to the stars. I'm trying to teach you how to fly. Look, you hit a lick at your neighbor house. The one that you.
Now, back to Weekend Gabe.
Yep.
So, do you have anything in the works, anything future works and things of that nature?
I mean, I got a couple things that I'm working on. I don't want to say anything right now because it's not concrete, but there's a couple things I'm trying to explore. In front of the camera, behind the camera, podcasting possibly. So, just a few things. Of course, I'd like to have you guys be part of that in the future. Just staying working and just staying listening for good music and great content and great discussion.
Definitely. Let the people know where they can find you, social media, all of those things.
Yep. It's Weekend Gabe, E-N-D, not N-D, like the weekend, no relation. Weekend Gabe, all over the social media. So, branding 101. Make sure it's all the same. So that people have to keep looking for you in different spots.
Or have it close. Exactly. Or have it close.
I'm sorry.
Well,
that just hit home for me. I've
Yeah.
been trying to get this girl to give me my Twitter name for the longest so I can take the.
Did you email her or text her? Not email her.
I've tried to. She
DM.
yeah, but I have to follow. She has to follow me back for me to DM her. So
Did you offer her money?
no, but I tweeted her like, give me my Twitter.
I'm thinking
name.
about doing that.
$5
in a Popeye's chicken box. There you go. There you go.
I had someone like have like my full name, and I was like at the time I was like, oh, I should have my full name because everyone I knew had like their on air, especially like in public radio. Everyone just has their regular name. They don't have like handles or like. So I was like, oh, and then there's this guy who never tweeted. Like he just had a name.
That's how the girl that I'm with is. Like she hasn't tweeted since like March of 2016. I'm just like, give me my damn Twitter.
Like I need that more than you do.
I do.
But yeah, Weekend Gabe. Follow us I'm on Radio 1 Chicago Thursday nights, the Hip Hop Project. Thursday nights all on WLUW, and then Sunday mornings on WLUW as well. I won't be there tomorrow, but we'll bounce back in a couple weeks.
I hear that. I mean, again, salute to everybody that tuned in today. As always, we appreciate you guys. You guys can follow me at Official Biko. That's Official B as in boy. EKOE. I'm happy, pretty right. Hey, catch that. Cool. Again, iLLANOiZE Radio Live is tomorrow, Sunday, at Wire in Berwyn. So you can go to our site, look for the directions, all that, grab tickets. Tickets are only $5 in advance. Tomorrow they will be $10. So get there, grab them tickets. We'll see you guys for a dope live show. Also grab your tickets for Taco Live, Never Doubt Me Live with Joel Q, Kenyatta, Fada, Josie Green. It's going to be a phenomenal show at Sub T. Whew, tickets are selling fast, man. So y'all better grab them tickets for it. This show will sell out. So grab y'all tickets while y'all can. And other than that, yeah, make sure you guys continue to stay tuned every Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. here on Logic Radio. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram at iLLANOiZE Radio. And Pretty Ride, how you been?
Yeah, guys, it's Pretty Riot. You know the voice. Follow me on Twitter. It's _Pretty Riot. My Instagram is just Pretty Riot. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday for an episode of Two Pretty Pennies. I just asked for two. Ouch. I just hit my knee, y'all. I'm so sorry that disrupted me. I just asked for 2 minutes of y'all time every Tuesday. I promise. Just 2 minutes. I like to keep it real short, real simple, and real sweet. But definitely, come check me out with my brothers tomorrow. iLLANOiZE Radio Live. We will be at the Wire. I got to be there early, so I don't know what time it really starts. But the show started at 8, I think.
Yeah, the show is.
Show starts at 8.
Doors at 7.
Right, what Biko said. Doors at 7, show started at 8, and we out that thing by 10. You feel me? Because I got to go to work in the morning.
Same here. Because I got work in the morning.
Yeah, but pop out, spend y'all Sunday evening with us. Jones will be there, making us all laugh. His shirt probably going to be too tight, like always.
His hat too.
Right, his hat too little too. Now, let me stop playing with Jones. He probably listening somewhere like, they is clowning me on the air. But since Jones not here, follow iLLANOiZE Jones 88.
Yep, you said it right.
Yeah, I was like, is it 88? Okay, yeah. Follow
right.
iLLANOiZE Jones 88 because he will be with us tomorrow as well. Check out Home of Drill on the site too. What else he be saying? Love, peace, and a ball of hair grease. Something he be saying.
If you can't stay in the kitchen,
right? Not in the kitchen. What is it? I want everybody to have a good weekend. If you can't, no.
Look,
party hard. No, party hard and party safe. And if you can't do both, then stay in the house.